Doreen Grand-Pichet is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism.
Doreen Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen.
I see Swati has written in that we as parents have to get through the circle of depression before we can think of helping them. And that is 1,000% the truth. And a lot of parents, Swati, and this is what concerns me, is that a lot of parents just get stuck in that phase of depression. And depression is mostly due to fear. And it's like, fear of the future, fear of not being a good enough mom, fear of what will happen to him, fear of how am I going to live my life, fear of all of that. And it's extremely difficult. And I really just want to kind of learn ways to help parents take it day by day and move forward, because truly there's beauty in all of it, right? And it isn't, and we just have to start seeing it.
Yeah, I think it's super important that we all find an outlet, and everybody's outlet is different. For me, the only thing that I really had access to that did it for me during those tough years was writing. I know other people who paint, I know other people who exercise, dance, do whatever, but for me it was writing. And I would try to write whenever I could. And a lot of it was just for me, an exercise in where I could dump all of my feelings and my thoughts and whatever. But 3 years ago, I felt the impetus, because things had reached a point where it was important to me on a lot of different levels. I took a lot of that writing and wrote a one-woman comedy show called the Autism Monologues, because that's how my head is like a clown car, and every once in a while we got to let some of the clowns out. Right? And in the very end of the show is a monologue that's probably my favorite part of the show, that's called The Bridge. And in it, I say, and I'm just going to paraphrase here, that for me, becoming a mom of a person on the spectrum, it's like being shoved out onto a bridge. I didn't choose to be on the bridge. I didn't, nobody asked me if I wanted to do that, but I'm on a bridge that I can't see the end of it. I can't see where it goes. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. There's no clear signs. And so I have to pick up my child and start walking on the bridge. And it's scary. And every once in a while, you turn back and look at the people on land and think, what must it be like to be them? And you think to yourself, why am I here? How come why? And the phrase I use in the show is, why did I get served this poop sandwich? Right? You feel bad about, like, what did I do to deserve to be here on the bridge? But you keep walking, and an amazing thing happens. Somewhere on the bridge, you notice that there are other people on the bridge.
Yeah.
And somehow they're making it work, which begs the question, how?
Yep.
And you start to learn from them.
Yeah.
And that for some of us, not all of us, but for some of us, we get to a place on the bridge where we get to acceptance, which is not the same as contentment. And we realize, I'm on the bridge. I'm going to make the most of being on the bridge. I'm going to take every day as it comes. I'm going to see what it holds. I'm not going to have an expectation of what it holds, but I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep learning, and I'm going to stop worrying about what's happening on the land.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stop trying to get back to the land. I'm going to be on the bridge, and I'm going to see, because there are amazing things on the bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. And Shannon, your screen is frozen. I don't know.
Sorry.
Oh, there you
my
are.
internet went buggy. Sorry about that. But the thing about it is if you can get to that point on the bridge, it's where the good stuff starts to happen. When you let go of all the, why did this happen to me? And start living in the moment. And I think that for most parents, that doesn't come until the teen years.
Yeah.
And for a lot of parents, accepting that comes with a certain amount of grief, because it means letting go of one thing for another.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that everybody that I know that's gotten to that place on the bridge, it's a place where we truly accept ourselves. And I had to accept the fact that I am not going to be a perfect parent. That is not going to be my story, but that I can be the best parent I can be today, which might be
Yeah.
better than it was yesterday and worse than it's going to be tomorrow. But it also means accepting my son for who he is, not who I wanted him to be, not who I expected him to be, but who he is. And when I can do that, I'm at my best parenting, my
That's
best.
amazing. That's incredible. I guess I want to. So, when you go through it as a parent, Shannon, and all of our parents who are watching, it's just like kind of you're going through it day by day, and so it is a much different journey than when someone from the outside observes it, right? Because when someone from the out, you're living it, right? And it's a longer process when you live it. And of course, you are focused on just surviving for a long, long time. I think parents are focused on, I will survive this, I will survive this, I will survive this. I guess I look at, and I was thinking about this a couple nights ago and the last couple of days. I look at parents of kids with special needs in a very different way. And I don't know that anyone has ever like I don't know if it's even possible for me to help to get parents to see it my way because you're and
Let's
the
hope.
reason I say that is because you're living it and I'm not, right? And so but here's how I see parents. So in life, there's those people who will enroll in the army. They'll just go and enlist, right? And they'll say, I'm going to enlist in the army and I'm going to help protect this world, this country, whatever it is. And they do it, and it's by their choice that they do it, right? Other times it's not by choice. Maybe all of these thoughts are coming to me because recently my son and I were watching Band of Brothers, the series, which is an incredible series. But I was thinking, like, these folks were all kind of not, they weren't enlisted. They were pulled into a horrible war, and they had to go through a period of training, and their job was to protect, and they went forward and they did this at their own many of them, and I'm not even talking about the ones who actually died in war, but many of them lived a traumatic life, right? Many soldiers to this day do. But I look at parents of kids with autism or other special needs in a similar way. I look at it as, some soldiers who are pulled in, who are not, they're just, you have to go to war. Some soldiers make it, and others, it's just harder for them to make it, but they do their best. But you're pulled into a scenario that you're not necessarily thrilled about, right? You don't want to necessarily be on that bridge. But what you're doing is there's a bigger picture to what parents have done. It's funny because yesterday I was doing an interview for this parenting magazine, and we were talking about depression in adults and adolescents with autism. And that's what I was talking about everything that has changed. And this is from someone who's observed it for 42 years, where when I started, we had autism wards in mental institutions, right? Camarillo, I did some of my postdoctoral internship in Camarillo where there were 3 autism wards. So when someone was diagnosed with autism, they'd be put away in a mental institution. Look at where we are now. And do you think that any of this changed because there was like a really good like doctor or lawyer or something? No. Everything that has changed was because of the mission and drive of a parent. So everything, whether it's health insurance or looking acceptance, look at what Autism Speaks has done. Guess what? They were parents and grandparents. Look at what all the so it's about this group, this army. It's a very long war, but the overall change for the world of autism is occurring. And there was supposed to be a movement that had to happen. I mean, today we talk about diversity, for instance, right? Think about how long it took for women to vote, just that on itself, right? That took ages. look at how fast, if you want to compare it to something like that, look at how fast we've come, how far we've come in the world of autism. There are treatments, there's a lot of research and money going into finding out what are the causes. People now accept that it's about toxicity. There's a lot of acceptance about sensory issues. The diagnostic manual recognizes sensory issues. There's insurance, there's medication. I mean, it's the advancements for future kids. It's a cycle, and you guys are the army. And you're the soldiers who could handle it. It's just that simple, you know? And so that's kind of how I look at it. And I know that it's tough being a soldier. It's not easy being part of that army. But yeah, I'll stop there. We're going off on a completely different thing.
But I will say that I am one of those people that has found the place where I consider it now a privilege.
Yeah.
I have the privilege of being my son's parent, and I have the privilege of having gone on a journey with him that is meaningful to me and meaningful to him. And we try every day to make that, I'm gonna cry. We try to make that relevant and meaningful for anybody else who can benefit from it. That's part of our mission in life. I know that there were many days early on when I would hear people say, well, I feel like it's a blessing and a privilege. And I would go, oh, and I thought that they were crazy. I don't want to negate how difficult it is for people, but I do need to claim my seat that I consider it a privilege now. And to give that perspective to someone who's in a place where they can't imagine it, there's a possibility that you will feel and say that one day too. And I hope that'll be true for you. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.
To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.